Mama V's here. Mama V, what's up?
Hi. I'm good. How are
Great.
you?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a great Friday. We have a relationship. So
Yeah, it's a relationship Friday. We're talking about, I don't know, this one, dear. We'll need you to get involved in from the very beginning because it sounds really big. Somebody who's dated now her boss for 7 years and he's still chasing her even though she's married in the same office. How do you handle a thing like that when we all know it's not so easy to get a new job these days? Take a transfer. Like, it sounds easy, but I know it's not. And we like to get experiences. So if this is your story or you've been here before, we want to know how you did it so we can give a friend that same advice. So join us on our Relationship Friday segment on Dear AM. We've got some newspapers in the studio, not a lot. So let's start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the graphic, it says, averts this environmental time bomb. And on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, which you would see in a short while, billows of smoke from burning refuse and e-waste along the banks of the polluted Odo River here in Accra. They've got an aerial shot there by Douglas Anane Frimpong. It just doesn't need a lot of words. It explains what the issue. This is something that we've known all along for a very long time. It's a beautiful picture telling a horrible story. Yeah. But more floods to hit Accra this year. Meteo warns. Story says the Ghana Meteorological Agency has warned that floods in Accra are going to increase this year due to the low resilience of the area to adapt to heavy rains. So 2020 season was going to be mostly similar or to or slightly lower in terms of rainfall amounts and distribution than last year's. A lot more details they explained in the paper. Process to create Office of Registrar of Companies begins. WAPCO resumes supply to Ghana. That has to do with the reason we have the blackout. So a bit of that on page 16. It says the West African Gas Pipeline Company Limited has successfully completed the clean and seize exercise on its pipeline 1 month ahead of schedule. This will be welcome news for the energy sector, as it is expected that the resumption of gas supply would make enough gas available for power generation, which for some time now has been inadequate, resulting in some level of load management. To the back page, Goldfields hands over completed project to host communities, and timber export to EU starts by close of year. Let's follow up with the Finder. Front page, failure to complete road projects on time, 168.5 million Ghana cedis. $37.8 million costs variations on only 2 contracts, totaling 65.6 kilometers. All this coming out from the work of the Auditor General, which a lot of people are insulting, by the way. See, when you tend to do good things, not everybody will like you. In fact, majority of the people may not like you, but still, you go strong and you bring out the rots in the system. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
CBG pays 8,884 individual customers. Free SHS is good. European Union MP making that comment there. 85% of Ghanaians say judges, court officials are corrupt. That's the latest Afro barometer coming out. A bit of it on page 6. But before that, ECG extends power to 400 communities in Eastern region. So the latest round of the Afro Barometer report by the Center for Democratic Development has concluded that 85% of Ghanaians believe judges and court officials are corrupt. Another set of respondents, 52%, believe that the entire judicial system is corrupt. This was reviewed by research done by the think tank, which surveyed Ghanaians on their experience of the judicial system. This corruption perception is prevalent among both respondents, who said they had not had contact with the judicial system, representing 5%, and those who said they had not in the last year. Also, only about 32% of persons interviewed said they trusted the courts somewhat. Only about 31% of respondents rated the judiciary favorably on independence. A similar number, which is 30%, rated the judiciary on professionalism, while 21% said the judiciary was fair. About 18 thought it is responsive, while 16% responded thinking the judiciary is transparent. But the greater number, I think the scary thing is people who haven't had any experience at all. They haven't been anywhere close to the system, but they've got the perception that they are corrupt. That's a lot of work to be done by Justice Kwesi Eninyiaboa.
Yeah, true. True.
Let's do the Ghanaian Times real quick. Front page of the Times. Deal with Get Fund officials, past, present, for abuse of power. That's a call from some graduate student. I guess that's where the concentration is. Instead of people spending their time lambasting the Auditor General, let's deal with the issues that has been revealed. Something that if they had not conducted that audit, we would all just be sitting down. It would have just continued. Who knows? It's even continuing today. GJA fumes at Parliament over Speaker's ruling on media coverage. Details of the GJA's release, I thought it was fantastic, spot on, especially after what Parliament even tried to do yesterday with that. I'm not sure. I mean, Speaker didn't say anything.
Yesterday they convened the press conference.
Yes, it was yesterday. Speaker didn't say anything different from what he had said that got all of us talking and trying to distinguish that journalists are not members of Parliament. They don't come under the control of Mr. Speaker. Neither are they paid. We don't get those allowances. Our court correspondent doesn't get the allowances that members of Parliament get. If there's anybody, and the GJA statement is also telling them that if there's anybody that you should check, it should be your members. Put them in line. You have no business controlling our content as media. And I thought that was a very strong statement coming from the Ghana Journalists Association. It makes you proud that you're a journalist, Yeah.
Definitely.
So big ups, Mr. Afel Money. Also, Ghana loses 25 million Ghana cedis to H1N1 in 2010-2011 due to failure to plan against disease. Also, according to the Auditor General. A businesswoman in court for 1 million Ghana cedis fraud. Ofosuampo Kweku Buahin case. Audio recording admitted in evidence. ACG disconnects, is it Fawe FM over alleged power theft? Okay, a lot more there. On the back page, Kotoko eager to bounce back against Bichim United.
Okay, so let's take it over and do, let me do the Daily Dispatch. Daily Dispatch has on the front page, Speaker's warning to Parliament press spot on. According to Ben Epson, there's a variation to the GJA's position and the position of many journalists on the subject. And this one is a quote from experienced journalists, and he's being quoted as saying, veteran journalist Ben Epson has defended the Speaker of Parliament over his threat to revoke the accreditation of the Parliamentary Press Corps for choosing a minority presser over debate in the House. It is forbidden if they have any doubts. The Speaker said, but let me go to Mr. Ben Epson's comment. He says, for a blanket threat would seem he is being partisan, but he must remember that every one of them is at the behest of the country, and whether you have the power or the prerogative to, I do not think it is right for him to issue that threat. In fact, issuing that threat is a worry, and we don't do things that way. That's what Mr. Ben Epson said. However, Mr. Ben Epson believes the priority of the media in the chamber should be on the activities on the floor. I think that it was in the right direction. I think it was wrong for the press corps to leave the chamber to go and follow someone who has decided to abstain from proceedings. The minority took away their right to debate. The journalists could have spoken to the minority after the debate. I think my colleagues were wrong. We should stop being used as a rubber stamp when it's time for the ex gratia discussion. Don't they throw the media out? He told from.
I think what some people are refusing to realize was the fact that the debates, the one-sided debate, was boring for anybody covering that. And unless you had any other story, what's your editor going to do? Publish the one-sided thing? I mean, it was boring. So, and I think that, see, if the leadership of Parliament had called the pressmen privately and had a conversation, said, Charlie Jack, you guys can't do this. You know how it looks. It looks really horrible that you guys leave us when we're doing work on the floor and then you chase somebody who decides not to participate. This shouldn't have even come out. You know, like, but where you sit there and you make it look like you're directing their work, then everybody will have a say on it. If they had been quiet, private conversation with media, just, you know, tell them like heart to heart. But when you do that show and come back and tell me that like father figure, Asa, when we go to Parliament, we don't do mother father there. We do work. You get what I mean? Yeah, it's not sensational. It's pure work. I think people should get the distinction. I think there's a judiciary, there's a legislature, there's an executive, there's media. Yeah.
Okay. So moving on, also we have Ghana is the fastest growing economy in Africa, OBG, and forget about the acronyms. I'll tell you what the OBG means. It means the Oxford Business Group. They have a yet to be published report that is indicating that Ghana's economy is the fastest in Africa in terms of growth. President sends railway minister on working visit to South Africa and Angola. We also do know the president is also in Europe. Whether he's come back. Speaker does not owe journalists any apology. Majority and minority leaders. All there.
Take the position. So they can also decide to leave when they want to. When they feel the news is somewhere else. You don't determine where the news is. Yeah, that's it.
I think editorial discretion is at the discretion.
I think people don't get it. You know, like you're not sent to Parliament. It's not mandatory for you to be in Parliament.
Actually, I'm thinking that if I was a parliamentary reporter and I have the minority boycotting proceedings and they're having a press conference outside the chamber,
Massa.
Which one is more news?
Yeah, of course. I mean, even on the day...
The only thing that will take, I think, somebody who's a good journalist to stay in the chamber is if, let's say, an MP was collapsing or there was a bomb blast or something of the sort, which was more news.
See?
No, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's a fact. Yeah. Listen, I was interested.
Because
I was interested, I tell you what, sorry. When the minority walked out on that day, the State of the Nation address, I was wondering, where were they going? Like, are they leaving the premises of Parliament? Are they going back to their offices? So I was interested in what our colleague, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, did for us, which is make a follow-up and find out exactly what they were doing. And a lot of people were interested in knowing what the MPs, after they had left the main chamber, what they were doing. And it was fascinating. Some of them were watching television, the same speech that they had gotten out of the chamber, and people thought, oh, they don't want to listen. They had gone to their offices to watch, and I found that more interesting.
Yeah, and the thing too is that journalists tend to exhibit editorial decision-making each time of the day they are on the job.
Yeah.
And a good journalist is someone who is able to determine what is editorially a good content.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because when you come back, you'll be berated for not taking the right decisions when you were on the job.
If another media house had another story that you didn't have, your editor will tell you, so where were you? It's like, oh, I was in the chamber. Doing what? You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, Charlie, MPs, you've got to understand our work. I think it's the leadership, really. It's not all MPs, because we had quite a number of MPs also condemning.
Well, yesterday, the Member of Parliament from Myon was here.
Yeah, Abdulaziz. Some members of Parliament condemning that statement by their own speaker. You're done with your papers?
Let me do the daily guide and then you can conclude with a statement. You haven't done a statement, you have you?
No, I haven't.
All right. NDC man confirms Ofosuampo for leaked tape. We also do have Ghana opens consulate in Dortmund in Germany, of course. And the new honorary consul, certificate of appointment to the new honorary consul for Ghana in Germany is Klaus Wegener. We also do have MPP will retain power Lembele. DC is saying. Parliament cools down media after speakers fiat. So those are the stories we have. Okay.
All right, let's do the last newspaper and we'll do myjoyonline.com. That's our website. The Daily Statesman is the last paper that we will do. Ghana's agriculture is now ranked 4th best in Africa Mahama's running mate won't die. Pastor Jackson dispels fears among JDM supporters. Mahama Yariga caged. Boko MP can't leave Ghana without court permission. So by way of headlines on the front page of the Daily Statesman, that's how it looks like. Roland, you found any interesting stories you want to?
No, let's go to myjoyonline.com.
So whilst we get ready to do myjoyonline.com, Lesedi Al-Hassani, you're 8 years today. Happy birthday to you. May the good Lord bless you and continue to make you blessing in your generation. It's from your mom, Mirabel, and of course your dad, John Al-Hassani. So Lesedi, happy birthday to you today. All right, we're ready for my John Line? Here we go. Anti-Galamsey force Operation Vanguard to withdraw from all bases. But if you listen to the information that's coming through, particularly shared by our colleague Seth Kwame Boateng, they say it's entered into another phase of the operation. So there's a whole new arrangement. Like this particular task force, they were actually on the ground. They will be in the forest and try to stop people who try to do illegal mining activities. But this other team will be kept somewhere else and called into when there is whatever. It's still not very clear. But that's
but Erasmus also was saying that we're going to
for me, the fact that the military, these guys are leaving, that's a big worry to me. Because if is it solely the Ghana Police Service that will be handling the Galamsey as the illegal mining activities going forward?
I'm not too clear about that. What Erasmus did confirm, though, was that it's going to be mainly made up of the police. But I think that if it's the special force of the police, SWAT or whatever, then it also puts them into a perspective. Look, we have to identify or delineate the issues. The issues are that the police and the soldiers are well trained. Is the composition of the forces, those individuals who get tainted because they get tempted to get corrupt. And for me, I don't take any comfort in the fact that we're going to deploy a new team and think that everything is going to be fine. They're also human beings.
Well, but even
and if you go seizing people's equipment, and you arrest them and you don't prosecute them quickly, it also means that they come back there and you have no choice than to say, make a decision. Do I take money from them and they go back?
I think
because they will come back anyway.
Heartbreaking, Roland, is where you arrest someone, you find somebody engaging in an illegal activity, and then you arrest them, and then you get a call to let them go. And the people, so people are now doing it with impunity. And Latif Idris went around with the sector minister, that's the mines minister, where he talks about as they were going round, they actually saw people engaging in the same activity, that we have a whole operation, a whole interministerial team trying to stop it. So people are now even doing it with impunity. And this is more like in your face, like we don't care, like, you know, there are more powerful people out there. So it really, I'm not sure if it gives me hope that the military is pulling out of this, and this is solely going to be handled by the police. So listen, we can engage your thought on it. You can send us a message if you're hopeful with this information that we're getting, that this would now going forward be handled entirely by a different team, but not Operation Vanguard. But I guess our time is up. You can go to myjoyonline.com and learn more about the stories on myjoyonline.com. Just before we run, though, the Federal Ministry of Health has confirmed the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, in Nigeria. This is in the Lagos state. The case, which was confirmed on the 27th of February, is the first case to be reported in Nigeria since the beginning of the outbreak in China, January 2020. Now that it's very close to us, coming from Nigeria, a lot of people are being alert now, because now we realize it has come really close. It's the first case in Sub-Saharan Africa. Very worrying for us in Ghana. So, we'll talk about this issue as well. You've got to stay with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Francis Amo today.
Yeah, definitely. We have a well-packed package for you today. And apart from the relationship, Francis Amo is also coming to, so I know you're going to enjoy it. We just watch his clip. Theodoric Segbafia of Rana Motor, sales boss or sales manager of Rana Motor. Today is your birthday. And Robert Coleman, chief executive for Wembley Sports Construction Ghana Limited says, have a great happy birthday. We're taking a break. Over right back with sports.